Hey everybody, and welcome to the replay. Tonight we are going to be talking about stress, holiday stress. Do you feel any stress? It's December 12th when I'm recording this, so my guess is most of us are feeling some type of stress. In fact, what's really interesting is across the board, all age groups, 67% of people say they feel stressed during the holidays. And some feel it to a great degree, some feel it to a little lesser degree. But tonight we're going to talk about some tips and some strategies to help you feel less stressed this holiday season. My name is CJ Johnson. I am the founder of Age Well with CJ. I am committed and passionate about helping people who are over the age of 40 to achieve their best, to feel great, to look good, and to age well. And that's what this show is all about. We're here every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And as I said, tonight we are going to be talking about stress. Now, one of the things I want you to do, make sure that you stay tuned all the way to the end, because at the very end, if you haven't already gotten it, it's not too late. There's still some time left in the season. I have for you a free 40-page ebook, Hijack Holiday Weight Gain. It is full of resources and tips and insights to help you stay fit, not just over the holidays, but truly any time of year. In fact, there's a free high-intensity workout in the back of it, so you can start to set yourself up for your 2018 goals using that workout. So make sure you go ahead and stay to the end. Now, as we get started, I would love to know, do you feel stressed during the holidays? Yes or no? If you do, go ahead and put it down. I just want to check the comments. Go ahead and make sure you put it down in the comments below. Yes or no? CJ, I feel stressed. Tell me what you feel stressed about. Something simple, or you don't have to use names. Don't have to. So, but what do you feel stressed about? Those types of things. Put that down in the comments below. So this was entitled, "You Don't Have to Be a Superhero to Triumph Over Stress." The Justice League is out, right? We've got Wonder Woman and Batman, and of course we have Flash. As I was thinking about this, I really thought I would love to be like Flash, where I could just, during the holidays, move from like one thing into the other. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So for those of us who aren't superheroes, we need to do a couple of things to help us to mitigate stress. And that's what I'm going to talk about this evening, is the things that you can do to mitigate stress. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and give me a little thumbs up down below. And don't forget, if you haven't already answered the question of the day, make sure that you put down there, do you feel stressed? And if you do, what is it that stresses you out? So tonight we're going to talk about these couple of things. Oh, hey, there's my superhero. You do not have to be that superhero. But we're going to start talking about these couple of things. Three things. There's three types of stresses that really get to us during the holidays. For most people, it's emotional stresses, which can cause emotional eating and this whole vicious cycle. We have financial stresses that happen over the course of the holidays from all the gift buying that we're doing, and at times perhaps we're overspending just a little bit. And then not really taking care of ourselves during this season. So those are the three things that we're going to tackle tonight and give you some tips and some strategies that you can put into action yet this evening that will help you to feel better. So let's go ahead and get going, and we're going to talk about the emotional stresses that we feel. You know, right now, I don't know about you, I was talking a little bit in the pre-show, I think we're more time-starved than ever. I love this time of year, but I also ski instruct. I love ski instructing. This is the busiest time of year at the ski resorts. In fact, we make more than 50% of our incomes come over the holiday season. So here I'm trying to balance commitments to a family, to other people, to festivities, to being out there with friends. I'm a pretty social person. I like to be out there. But I'm also trying to balance this with like doing this show and being a ski instructor. I'm going to be busy starting this Saturday all the way till January 4th. I'll have 2 days off, luckily, hopefully, in between that time. So I'm sure that you can understand I'm not unique and I'm not alone. Most of us have a schedule during the holidays where we are in a total time crunch. And that time crunch, it just sets off our emotions and makes us feel uncomfortable. Oftentimes, then we turn to food. Many of us, not everybody, but I know I do, turn to food for comfort. It sets off this vicious cycle because now I'm stressed, I'm turning to food, I'm worried about weight gain, all this sort of stuff. So it's not a super comfortable position to be in. So with some of those emotional stresses, there are a couple of things that we can start by doing. So the very first thing that we want to deal with when it comes to emotional stresses is to identify people and situations that are difficult for you. Do you have to go somewhere that is a real challenge for you? As an example, do you have to attend the company holiday party? Perhaps that's a challenge for you. Sometimes going to somebody's house, family's house for dinner, for festivities, that could be a real challenge for you. What I'd like you to do before the end of the evening, before this is over, is just write down one place or person. It could also be a person. There might be people that, hey, I love going to the company Christmas party, but I hate seeing Don at the company Christmas party. He just drives me crazy. Write down either the situation or the person that's causing stress for you. That's the very first place to start, because once we're aware of it, then we could start to make some plans to minimize some of that stress. So very first thing is to write it down. The second thing that we want to look at is, do we need to be there? Do we have to be at that place? Sometimes company Christmas parties, you could skip it. Other times you may have to go to the company Christmas parties. But just because you've always done it doesn't mean that you have to keep doing it. Take an honest and objective look and say, do I have to be there? The other thing is, if you have to be there, do you have to be there for that long? So if the party starts at 5 and it goes till 10, do you have to be there the whole time? Or would it be just as acceptable for you to be there between, say, 7 and 9 o'clock? So you minimize your exposure to either the situation or to the person that you are emotionally stressed about. So who is it? And ask yourself if you really need to be there. Now, our next one is create a plan for emotional stress. And a plan is not, how am I going to make this? I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to do it, CJ. No. Create a plan and make it work. What you want to do is, as an example, is maybe you can see in this picture, you got a plan. Maybe that day I'm going to work out and I'm going to exercise, because all those really good feeling endorphins come out and you take away some of the stress and you feel a little bit better. That's part of a plan. How about healthy eating? When you know that you're going to be in a stressful situation, oftentimes that causes us to eat very stressfully. How about making as part of your plan, eating a healthy meal that day so that you're feeling good about yourself? Oftentimes, if we have something, I don't know about you, but if I've got something to do in the evening that I don't really want to do, I could stress eat during the course of the day. And by the time I get to that function, I am already feeling very stressful. So make sure that you create a plan to do that. As an example, if you're going to the mall, that can be a place that we're going to stress eat, right? Okay, you have to go to the mall because you are buying Christmas gifts. So you absolutely have to be there. But you know that situation stresses you out because they're full of people and you can't find the stuff you want and it's just real time consuming. Don't go to the mall hungry. make sure you eat something before you go to the mall. Take something healthy with you. This time of year, I have a protein shake in my bag with me all of the time so that I have something very healthy. So create a plan to make it work. As we said, part of that plan can be the workout. We talked a little bit about that. Plan for indulgences. You know what? There are going to be times where you are going to overindulge. Plain and simple. You're a human being. Most of us anyway. Chances are you're going to eat a little bit more food than you want to. But if you're eating healthy away from those times, that's when you can kind of recoup. This time of year, it's super hard to cook, right? We've talked about this. We're short on time. Realistically, most of us aren't going to cook at home. How about treating yourself to one of the meal boxes? They're fresh, they're healthy, all the ingredients are in there. That way you get a home-cooked meal and you don't have the stress of going through it. So plan for those indulgences and do a little healthy eating at home. So think about this. I want you to put down on the bottom, is this a strategy that you can use? Can you identify that person, who they are, or that situation, and make a plan accordingly to avoid some of that emotional stress? So, okay, we're going to get into number 2. We're going to get into financial stress. Wow, this can be a big one this time of year. So statistics show, I thought this was pretty interesting, that most people, actually 60% of people, make a holiday budget. Last year, the average holiday budget was about $800. I thought that was pretty impressive. I was surprised that the statistic was that high. Now, only about 20% of those people stick to that budget. That, I have to say, didn't surprise me very, very much. So, there's a lot of stresses that go along with spending on the holidays. So here's a couple ways to take away some of those stresses. And number one is, the very first thing is I want you to think about gifting. First of all, who do you really need to give gifts to? I remember back when, with my family, we used to do these fairly elaborate, oh my goodness, it was obscene. It wasn't elaborate. It was absolutely obscene. And then as time went on, we changed how we gave. We ended up doing charity gives in people's names. So we gave to different charities, animal charities or homeless charities, all those types of things. There's so many worthwhile charities out there. So decide who it is that you want to give to. So with the adults, we did that. With the kids, we still gave them some gifts because, hey, that's part of giving to kids at Christmas, right? Is watching them get some gifts and the joy of opening some of those things. So maybe you need a secret Santa inside of the family. Don't be afraid to suggest it. I remember the very first year that John and I suggested it. It didn't necessarily fly too well, but then after that, everybody kind of got on board, and we ultimately found that it was way more satisfying doing for other people than it was for us, because truly, we had everything we needed. We're very, very fortunate people, very blessed people. So first thing is look at who you're gifting with. So our next thing is, you do need to set that budget. What is that budget? So get the budget and make a plan that, hey, I am going to stick to this budget. So if you end up overspending a little bit in one place of the budget, maybe you can cut back on the other. But use the budget. Don't be one of those people who creates it and then doesn't stick to it. Now, another thing to think about is the plan to pay it off. Only of all the people who made the budget, less than, I think, 10% actually made a plan to pay it off. If the average budget is $800 and you put that on a credit card, depending upon what your interest rate is and how quickly you're going to pay it off, that $800 becomes significantly more. I mean, it can be $1,200. It is significantly more than the original $800 that you spent. So go ahead and make a plan to pay it off. In the show notes, I'm going to give you a couple great resources that I found. They're from Motley Fool, Motley Fool, which is a big financial website, as well as Money Crashers. two great resources on building that budget and paying it off. And I know that it's the 12th of December and you may have already started some of your holiday shopping. Don't fret, it's never too late to make a budget, and it certainly is fine to start making that plan to pay it off. So is that something that you think you can do? If it is, go ahead and give me a little bit of a thumbs up, and give me a thumbs up down below. And hey, Ryan, how you doing? It's been a while. How's everything going? But give me a thumbs up and tell me if creating a plan to avoid some of that financial stress is something that will take away the holiday stress, and ultimately all we're trying to do is just make the holidays more enjoyable for you. So we've covered two things. We've talked about the emotional stress, which can lead to emotional eating. We've now talked about the financial stress. Well, let's talk about number 3, because I don't know about you. This is another thing that I absolutely suck at this time of year. I don't always take care of myself. I'm going in a multitude of different directions. I was talking to my mom today. She was talking about having to pack. She's coming out here next week, having to pack all the things that she had going on inside of her life. I'm going to guess she probably didn't get her workout in today. And definitely a workout is one of those things that you can that can help you to feel better. So the biggest question that I have for you is this, is what makes you feel good? You know, is it going to a spa and getting a massage? Is that something you enjoy doing? In fact, right now it's a great time to get sales on massages. They are not very busy this time of year. How about a workout? You know, going outside, playing with the dog. In fact, speaking of which, I wish I had a picture that I could show you. My mom took the dog for a walk today. In his bed on a sleigh. It's kind of this interesting little picture. I'll post it later on, but it was pretty cool. But Mom took the dog for a walk today, so I stand corrected. I guess she did get her exercise in today, and that's one of the things that can really control your stress is working out. How about yoga? The meditation and the stretching, that's all so wonderful for our bodies. I try very hard this time of year to make sure that after my workouts, I'm adding in that additional time to take care of my body and exercise and just to feel just a little bit better. Another thing that I love is baths. I absolutely love baths, and I love this picture of Santa taking a bath. So I'm going to share with you one of my favorite ways to take a bath. So here's what you need. Just a couple of things. And you can actually do this as a holiday gift. So we'll go back to number 2. You can save yourself a little bit of money. So one of the big things is get a package of Epsom salts. It's pretty easy to find at the grocery store. You're also going to need some baking soda. And then the last thing you will need would be some kosher salt. Okay, so it's those 3 things. You're going to take those. What I have here is a little silver container, and I've mixed all of those 3 things. You can kind of see it here. I've mixed those 3 ingredients: a cup of Epsom salts, a cup of the kosher salt, and a 1/4 cup of the baking soda. I've put those all together. Then what I have done is I'm relying on essential oils. Essential oils have a variety of, in this case, we're using calming essential oils to help our bodies and our minds feel better. The blend that I have picked is called Unwind. And I wish that you could smell this. It's essentially two oils. Haha, essentially two essential, no, ever. Anyway, it's lavender and bergamot. Most of you have probably smelled lavender. It is a very sweet, herbaceous smell, a little bit, maybe some people would say kind of a woody type of smell, floral in nature. And it's definitely very sweet. Lavender is kind of like the Swiss Army knife of oils. You find lavender in a lot of stuff, primarily because of its calming related properties. Now, bergamot might be one that you haven't heard of. Bergamot is a little lighter in smell than the lavender is. more citrusy, a little bit more on the fruity side, where I think the lavender is more floral. This happens to be a blend of the two together. I'm going to put a link down below so you can check this out. So then what I do with this is, once I've got everything mixed, I want to be real gentle here. This is so good. I want to be real gentle here. I only need about 4 or 5 small drops of the essential oils, and I have, depending upon the size of my tub, 1 to 2 baths, just like that, sitting here in this bowl. Now, if you want to give those away for a gift, this is a big mouth mason jar. You'll notice here, top, big mouth, very easy to fill. All you simply have to do is take our mixture here, and what I'm doing is just going to take it real quick and fill it up. In fact, I'm probably going to get about 2 of these out of the mixture I just gave you. Take this, you can cover it up with a little raffia or some Christmas paper, some Christmas print. Somebody could get super duper creative and you could gift that. You're saving yourself some money. You're giving somebody the gift of less stress, and you still have enough left over for a bath for yourself. So take a bath and relax. That's my favorite way. So that's what I asked you at the start of this, is what's your favorite way to relax? My favorite way to relax is through a bath. My hubby's favorite way to relax, actually, is through reflexology. He likes that on your feet. So tell me, what's your favorite way to relax? Let's put, okay, Lois says she's working out right now. Okay, Lois, you keep at it. But what's your favorite way to relax? What is it that you like to do? I know Ryan lives in Hawaii now. I think you're still living in Hawaii. And I'm sure being by the ocean is something that can be very relaxing. So really kind of those are, as we recap it and as we wind this down for tonight, whoop, I kind of went through the bath salts. I missed a few of those slides, but that's okay. Is to take care of yourself both emotionally is what are the situations that trigger you, and coming up with a plan to help you to mitigate those, and to certainly not to get into the stress of emotional eating, because that can happen so easily during the holidays because there's so much food there. Financially, make yourself a budget and stick to it. Again, I've got those great resources that I'll post in the show notes down below. And then self-care. How do you take care of yourself? What is your favorite way to pamper yourself? And it doesn't have to be forever, just a little bit. There's so many great pampering specials on sale right now because people just aren't doing it. So that's kind of the ways to take care of yourself. I promised you, if you stuck around to the end, that I had a giveaway for you. It is Hijack Holiday Weight Gain. This is a 40-page ebook. Great resource full of tips and tricks and strategies to help you to keep the weight off during the holiday season. We still have a couple more weeks to go till Christmas. Really about another 3.5 weeks to the start of the new year. So there's plenty of stress and parties and food and all that stuff going around. This is a resource that will help you start 2018 on a good note. So if you want to get a copy of that, there's the web address. You can jump on over to agewellwithcj.com/HHWG, and it is there for you. I'm going to take back. Hey, Alice, how you doing? Glad we could join us. Oh, we were talking bath salts. I know how much Alice loves. I've got the, make sure I get it in the frame. I've got the Unwind here. I left the cap off of this because it was just too hard to take the cap off. So I've been smelling this the whole time that we've been on. And it really is. It's just amazing. In fact, one of the things I do with this is I diffuse this. I put it on my husband's pillow at night. He can have a little bit of a hard time sleeping. And I put it on his pillow at night. And it's a great way for him to relax. So that's another wonderful way to use that. And I'll make sure that I put a link to that in the notes below. Well, I hope that you can take these and use some of these strategies to help you have a much more enjoyable holiday. Next week is going to be our 6th and final show. And I did mention I've had 4 shows before this about traveling, eating, exercise, and picking a fitness tracker. If you missed any of those and you want to see them, they are in the page feed, but I'll also put a note down below. Those are there for you. But next week, we are going to be talking about last minute holiday survival tips, because next week we're getting really, really close to Christmas. So up until then, I hope that you take this information out and you really enjoy it, because you know what? Together we can train smart, live bold, and age well. Good night, everybody.